Whatever.
Alright.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the SOGOpod. Sponsored in part by... Good day, everyone, and welcome to hell, where we live.
No, we gotta go deeper.
Oh.
Out of hell.
So, Frank.
Yes.
Guess what?
What?
Chicken butt.
Oh. Guess why?
Chicken pot pie.
Or chicken thigh.
Yeah. So, I actually have something to talk about today.
Oh, really? I don't.
That's all right. So, I'm sure you've heard about the Ahmed guy.
Yes.
That, quote, built.
Clock boy.
Yeah, clock boy.
Yeah.
So, G's been up in arms about this whole thing because, like, this kid's just the biggest fraud I've ever.
Oh, he's yeah.
So
he did what I did when I was
right?
his age, which was take shit apart and then
claim to know something
put it
about
back
it.
together. Yeah, and then put it back together. I mean, granted, if he continues down that path, he could be a very good engineer and do a lot of great stuff, but he's not an inventor or some kind of genius or anything. He's just a kid who happens to be Muslim.
Yeah. So apparently what happened here, you all know the story. The kid brought a clock that he, quote, invented to school in a pencil box that looked suspiciously like a suitcase bomb, like a lot. And
Suspiciously like a suitcase bomb.
Yeah.
I don't even care about the whole, it's still super shitty. In general, it just leads to the idea that I've always said cops are shitty.
Yeah.
Cops are shitty. Everyone knows that. There's no denying that.
Yeah. Well, here's my thing. As far as the school itself goes, school did the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, school definitely should be worried about that. With all the shit going down nowadays, you don't fuck around.
Even if he was a white kid who brought a weird looking suitcase thing to school. It's the cops that were the biggest issue. The school did what they were supposed to do.
Yeah, the problem was he got detained and questioned without parents or a lawyer.
Without
or
any lawyer, all this kind of shit.
And,
that's super fucking illegal.
Well, I mean, it's completely legal. It's just not. You don't do
Especially
that to a fucking kid.
I
don't know. It may be illegal for a minor without parents, but I know without an attorney. I mean, you can get got.
I mean, just the fact that that sort of situation should have been handled by the school. I mean, again, if it was a bomb, if they thought it was a bomb too, they could have. They didn't follow any proper procedure at all. Like, you're supposed to clear the fucking building. You get the bomb squad out there. If you think it's a bomb, you don't just take the kid to the fucking office and call the fucking cops.
Yeah.
You fucking get the fucking bomb out of the building, or you get the people out of the building where the bomb's at. You know,
I mean, even calling the cops didn't seem like a bad move. It was just the shit that the cops did was wrong to me.
Yeah.
I mean, if I were running a school...
If you just take out all the other crap about it, the cops were just in the wrong in general. I mean.
But anyway, regardless of all that, whether or not you agree or disagree, the kid's no genius. Turns out that clock that he, quote, built was actually a PCB, which is a printed circuit board, meaning he could not possibly have built it. It was manufactured.
Just took it out of a fucking other clock and put it in another thing.
In fact, somebody posted a video with they found the exact clock model and the exact pencil case, and literally took 15 seconds to make the same thing he did.
Again, like I said, with enough push him in the right direction, the kid could do a lot of good when it comes to engineering. But what he did was what any kid his age who has an interest in that kind of stuff would do. I can't tell you how much shit I took apart and put into other containers in order to utilize them in different ways.
Yeah.
I took apart a lot of stuff to build robot cars with connects.
But the entertaining part though is how this kid's dad has just spun the whole thing. Because apparently the kid's dad is some kind of Muslim rights activist or something.
Yeah,
which,
he's
more power to him.
Yeah.
But supposedly he's tried shit like this before, and it seems really staged, the entire thing, and he just got a lot better results.
Well,
the
fact that every
expected.
time he appears on the news, he's flanked by people who are part of this Muslim rights organization. He's never speaking for himself. There's always a sort of PR person there, and they've really blown it up into this huge PR maneuvering thing.
Yeah.
And again, that's what people do nowadays. I mean, almost everything's a fucking PR maneuver and all that stuff. So
this kid, though, yeah, I mean, he's been invited to the White House, got a whole bunch of free shit from Windows, like thousands of dollars of free shit, or Microsoft rather.
Yeah.
And there's this picture I found, and it's just a picture of him with the soldering iron, like on the top of a fucking circuit board that he pulled out of a media player, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And he's wearing his NASA shirt. He only has one shirt.
It's apparently this NASA shirt. Yeah.
Somebody made a startup for buy Ahmed a new shirt because he only has one. And
they always put him in the NASA shirt because it's like
NASA. Nerdy kids wear that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But he's sitting there with his circuit board. There's wires everywhere. There's like this really ugly ass setup, and on the computer screen you can see there's uTorrent. So it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I can pass that. Maybe you're just downloading really awesome clock blueprints from uTorrent.
Just badass clock
but then you look in the bottom right, and there's the little Windows notification thing for you don't have a real version of Windows. He's got a pirated version of fucking Windows.
Even with all his fucking free Microsoft shit.
And they gave him all kind of free shit like a boss.
Hey, more power to him. More power to him. Do you, Ahmed?
G is absolutely furious because there's this kid that made some kind of fucking method to measure the length of quasars using gravitational lensing in this science fair that they sent this kid to. And there's like another kid that has like some kind of vaccine in the works that's being tested at the moment. And you got Ahmed who took apart a clock.
Yeah.
Fuck you, all right? Fuck you. These kids are the real fucking deal right here.
Yeah.
And even, I can't remember his name. One of the liberals off of news media, like CNN or something.
Mm-hmm.
One of the big-time liberals even got after him. He was like, he's not a genius. He just did this.
Well, even Richard Dawkins was like out there on Twitter, was just like, he's not an inventor. He didn't invent anything.
Richard Dawkins is an asshole anyway.
Oh, yeah. There's a great flow chart that I saw. I was like, what is Richard Dawkins talking about? If he's talking about evolutionary biology, listen to him. Anything else, don't listen to him. He's just talking out of his ass because that's what he does.
It's weird about Richard Dawkins because he's obviously intelligent.
Oh,
I respect his intelligence.
Yeah.
But God, he's a fucking dick about it.
Oh, yeah. He's super fucking pompous.
It's just everything that's wrong with atheists today.
You wonder where we get it from.
I mean, don't get me wrong. You're fucking awesome atheist. I don't care. Do you?
But I did own a copy of The God Delusion, and I did read it. And it's a very good book.
I'm sure it is.
Because it makes very keen and sound arguments and everything. And, like, he doesn't really do a lot of, like, Christian bashing. That's just more of his public persona.
I've actually heard a lot of interesting things about the book. And, like I said, I'm not downing his intelligence. He's obviously a smart guy.
Yeah.
But, come on, man. Just stop being a dick. Don't be a dick about it.
Well, yeah,
really.
Exactly. That's the problem with atheists in general. And there's a weird crossover, though, with, there's a weird crossover I've noticed, being a person who used to watch a lot of YouTube atheist videos. There's a weird crossover with people who are YouTube atheists and who are also hardcore anti-feminists, anti-SJW type. There's just this dude Thunderfoot. He's big and he's big into. He was doing these great fucking YouTube atheist videos and everything, just fucking bashing Christians, bashing particular ones like Kent Hovind, and there was this old YouTube Christian dude named Venom Fang X back in the day who actually filed a false DMCA claims against a bunch of YouTube atheists and pretty much almost got himself into a lot of legal trouble. And Kent Hovind did the same thing, and that's the reason why they go after him. Because of his decision to try to DMCA content. But for some reason lately he's been just posting a lot of anti-SJW, anti-feminist screeds. Yeah, it's just I can agree with you on this stuff because I appreciate a person who can, who because he calls himself a pluralist, is what he says. It's physical evidence and reasoned logic, is what he says. So it's Pearl, So that's what always looks for is physical evidence and reasoned logic. But every time he goes after the SJWs, it's like, okay, you're just kind of muddying the waters here. Because he does a lot of comparisons between, like, the hard right Christians and SJWs and how they have the same sort of, like, no questioning my beliefs kind of situation. But, like, I look at it like, I'm just like, I don't fucking... I'm annoyed by people who get all fucking pissy about social justice, but at the same time, it's like, you can't do anything about it. And,
I'm an expendable white male. Sorry. Yeah, exactly. What do you want me to do?
That's one thing. Cause, like, I will fucking champion any woman, person of color, or going out there and fucking putting their head, sticking their fucking necks out and fucking talking some shit. I will stand up for those people because fucking, you fucking do it. Because you got to stop every fucking white dude who's going out there and trying to do it for you, because that's exactly the fucking problem. And that's quote unquote why you need feminism, because this fucking white dude is going to tell you why you need feminism, you know. It's like,
did you see the new South Park?
Yeah, I've heard about it. Yeah.
I actually
I haven't gotten around to watch him.
Weirdly enough, I just happened to be on Facebook and saw a thing for Comedy Central. They have an app.
Oh yeah.
And, I never really fooled with it. But on the app, they said, watch the new episode of South Park. It just come out that night.
Yeah. Yeah, they do that. And you can go on, like, southparkstudios.com and actually watch
I knew you could do that, episodes, but I figured, new episode, you have to have cable.
Really?
No, you fucking
They usually do that, like, their most recent episodes, like Adult Swim's pretty good.
Yeah, I've sat there and watched it in, like, almost real time.
I would just get a Hulu subscription at this point, though. I mean, it's like $7.99. Yeah, you gotta, like, watch a couple ads, but fuck, you get, like, all of the Adult Swim content, all of the Comedy Central stuff. So you get to watch every episode of South Park. The new Daily Show dude who just started, you get to watch that. And, I haven't gotten around to watching the new episodes of South Park. I didn't know, like, I just
sponsored in part by Hulu.
I just binge watched like like season 18 because everybody's talking about how, like, there's a fucking continuing story, and they're doing the same thing with this season where there's, like, some elements that carry over from episode to episode. Because the first episode, the premiere episode, was like taking down, like, SJWs and hardcore politically correct people, and basically saying, hey, they're just as much as bullies as the people that they talk about being bullies.
It was a strange episode, though, because, like, even Cartman, he just couldn't do anything. He just, like, gave up and was like, this is what I believe now. These are my beliefs. And, like, the episode just ended with him launching tacos and having pregnant Mexican women, like, attack the frat house that PC principal and all the SJWs were at, and it made no sense. It was weird, and then there was, like, no comeuppance. It's just like, you can't beat them. You can't beat SJWs. You might as well accept it, but they're still assholes.
Yeah, but I mean, it made a good point. Was like, even if you think, like, for instance, what Caitlyn Jenner, if you think it is, like, stunning and brave, as they said, you still can think Caitlyn Jenner's a fucking asshole, and, like, she's done a lot of shitty stuff in her life, and, like, she's just not a nice person. And
is that how you're supposed to identify her?
Yeah, it's Caitlyn Jenner. I mean, it's Caitlyn Jenner. It's not Bruce Jenner anymore. That's her old.
There's just one thing I saw. It was like Zid or some weird way to say, like, transgender.
Zers. Yeah, that's like preferred pronoun bullshit. That's like special snowflake level shit to me. Like, I don't get down with that level of, like. If you start doing that shit, I'm just like, no, you've lost me. Because, like, even if you want your preferred pronoun to be she or her, if you identify as female or you identify as male or if you identify as gender fluid or whatever, at a certain point. And also, don't get pissed off at somebody when they get your fucking preferred pronoun wrong, because they don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Not everybody's browsing your fucking Twitter and seeing your fucking bio that says preferred pronouns Zer and Zid or whatever. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's getting ridiculous. Redonkulous.
Well, it's such a very, very small portion of actual society that like it doesn't.
It's one of those things that just affects,
because you're on the internet all the time.
Yeah,
and you just see it constantly. You see it, like, I'm on Twitter a lot, and a lot of people I follow run in those same circles. Some are more, like, hey, they have friends who are like that, so then those people end up following them or end up seeing retweets from them or going to their feeds, and, like, so you end up seeing a lot of it. But I feel like you get inundated with it But you have to realize that that's such a very small portion of the actual society, and that, you know, a good portion of the society is the quote-unquote mainstream, and they don't give a fuck about any of that stuff, you know?
It all goes back to the empty can rattles the loudest kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Hate to quote Metallica here.
Which is like just flip side of exact same bullshit that SJWs complain about when it comes to like fucking Gamergate and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's the exact same scenario, though. Like, you want to say, like, well, these SJWs, they're all fucking over the place. Well, yeah, so are the annoying fucking fedora-wearing, female-hating, like, virgins that run around on the internet.
How about this? We're white males. We're expendable. Let's just hate everything. Everyone.
Yeah, no lives matter. It's great. It's a picture of a black hole, and it just says hashtag no lives matter.
There's somebody who complained that it's a black hole and not like a white hole.
Why isn't it a white hole?
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, that's, you know, that's the flip side of the whole all lives matter thing, which, I mean, like, I'm just like, well, that's not the fucking point.
Yeah.
Just get over your fucking self.
I can't even get into that, like, mindset about that whole argument. It's just, I don't get it.
Like, you don't get why all lives matter?
No, I mean, I don't get. I mean, I understand that, you know, what the deal was with how it became Black Lives Matter and all that. Yeah, I get it, but I can't bring myself to be in the mindset of either. It's just like, I don't care. This kid got shot by cops. Like, the cops suck. I don't care about race. The cops fucking suck.
Yeah.
And then you over here, you fucking white guy, all lives matter. I don't. Yeah, duh.
Yeah, duh. Yeah, exactly. Duh. That's why I said no lives matter, because at least you're making a fucking statement about something.
Yeah,
you know?
It's just, I don't care.
You know, yeah.
Stop the fucking cops. I don't care
about... If stopping the cops means that we stand arm in arm with our black brethren while they fucking tear down the system, I'm okay with that. You gotta fucking stop the cops.
Yeah.
They're fucking pigs and they're corrupt, and that's the fucking problem. Yeah. It's been the problem with the system for a long time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, we gotta clarify. No, not all cops.
Cops' lives matter.
Yeah, cops' lives matter. I have seen that tag.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's been like, I saw a great post.
Instead of cops, let's just say the system.
Felonious Punk, he posted a great thing. It was like, yeah, you know,
he's a really great poster.
Yeah, hashtag cops lives matter. Cop killings are the lowest in like 20 years, and it's like hashtag Black Lives Matter. Black people have fucking been killed by like more this year than they have, and like police violence has been like on the rise since the last 20 years. You know, it's like,
I mean, you gotta think though. I mean, with all the shit that's been going on lately, cops gotta feel threatened.
Oh yeah, they gotta feel threatened, but at the same time, it's like, you know, that's kind of your job in a way. Is like you got to go out there and you fucking fight crime or whatever.
Yeah, we could avoid like
somebody's gonna
almost all of this if we just did the chest cam thing for cops across the nation.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like, and then when you see the videos of the shit they're doing with the fucking chest cams and stuff, like when you see them actually committing violence and it's almost a near first person view, maybe people will feel
like you see what they
really
saw. Okay,
shitty.
you were justified in shooting this guy.
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like that there needs to be like a third party, private group, like private nonpartisan group that just their job is to receive this footage from these things and then view it. And don't let the cops review that footage and tell me that it's okay that the cop killed this guy.
I guess it would go into the judicial system.
It would become public at some point, but and it usually does. They usually release the footage, but it's like, you know, at what point do you let the cops have the fucking chest cams and say, okay, well now you have the chest cams, and then they still fucking kill people, and it's like, great, they're killing people still, but now they're on video doing it, you know. And like, there's all kinds of fucking shit out there that I see that's just like, you're not getting the people who miss the point, just totally, completely miss the point when it comes to like arguing against like stuff like that. When like arguments like Black Lives Matter or like arguing against cops being violent and stuff, like you're missing the point of this whole thing. Like, no one's saying, like, and usually coming from people who have cops in their family, it's like no one's saying your brother is going to murder somebody or your dad is a murderer or whatever. But there are cops who are extremely violent and who have done super violent things, not just on duty, but even off duty. Like the fucking rate of domestic abuse amongst law enforcement officers is much higher than the rest of society, and obviously, and most of them are former soldiers, so you gotta have issues with PTSD and stuff.
There really should be like psychological profiling.
Yeah, well, the fact it takes 6 months to train a fucking soldier, but cops can do it in 3 weeks, and they're fucking equipped with the same weaponry, and they're fucking told to do the exact same job. You give a cop a damn machine gun, he's going to look at the average citizen as a potential threat or a potential target, and when you train them, and that's the militarization of the police,
Anyway, long story short, TLDR, the system sucks. People are crazy.
Fight the power.
Yeah. Black Panthers?
Yeah. They're going to shoot up our schools. Did you see that shit? Fucking goddamn. It was like a couple of weeks back. Fucking white panic. I'm on the fucking worst level. Like some fucking stupid Facebook thing where it gets around, somebody said something like the Black Panthers are going to shoot up this school or whatever on September 11th. That was September 11th. And it's like, what? Did they fucking put out a PR letter about this? Or like, how did you find out? Are you friends with Black Panthers? Are Black Panthers even a thing anymore? Yeah. It's like a big, I feel like, they are a thing, but their whole point was not domestic terrorism. They were never domestic terrorists. They were, just the same as any other politically minded group in that time period, with protests and, they might have been a little violent, but shit. I agree with Malcolm X on that point. They ain't their fucking businesses and homes that they're burning. They're all owned by white people, so fucking burn them down, I
mean, even with, like, Black Panthers, if they were being domestic terrorists, it's like Huey Freeman level, not...
Yeah, exactly. It's like maybe it's like tagging the side of a courthouse or something, or burning a Confederate flag in front of a bunch of rednecks. Like, that's the level of domestic terrorism, Like, there's a hell of a lot. I feel more threatened by the crazy white people in this country than I do by any fucking black person. Like, I would rather have, like, Crips and Bloods hanging out in every street corner than have a single white guy with a machine gun and a flak jacket, because fucking hell, white people love mass shootings. We're all about shooting a lot of people at once.
It's high score, man.
Yeah, you gotta fucking beat the high score.
Oh god, I saw those posts and it was just like face palming. Just, I feel like it's 70-year-old man because this country's gone to hell. I miss the good old days right after 9/11.
Yeah, the before 9/11 when everybody was free.
It was from Metal Gear Rising.
Yeah,
the good old days right after 9/11. The fucking Sundowner.
Yeah.
There was a those posts all over 4chan. It's posting this thread and whatever will come to you. There's one in V with Sundowner. It says the Sundowner of post 9/11 has visited you. And the good old days right after 9/11 will come to you if you post in this thread. It's just lousy with Metal Gear shit now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you still can't go there.
That's why
and they all hate it, obviously.
Oh yeah, of course. They hate everything that comes out that's new and fun.
Yeah.
They hate fun. So if it's fun, they definitely don't want anything to do with it. If it's not Dwarf Fortress with like ASCII art, they don't want anything to do with
it. Speaking of Metal Gear, just a little
Metal Gear update. I beat this main story, Chapter 1. I'm in Chapter 2. Shit's gotten weird.
Yeah. We don't have nearly as much time to play as you would think.
Yeah, I couldn't play last night. I could have, but I just didn't. Like, it's not because I don't want to play, because I really fucking, like, I've put almost over 60 hours in that game now at this point, and I fucking am not planning on stopping. I've gotten my dollar per hour ratio out of the way. You know? So that's my ratio. If I can at least get as many hours of entertainment as I spent dollars on this game, then it's a good purchase. There are certain games that it's not so much. Like, I will buy an Uncharted. Like, if I had a PS4, I'd buy Uncharted 4 because I like the Uncharted games, even though the stories are like 12 hours long or whatever. But I like the fucking spectacle of it, the set pieces and all that. But Metal Gear Solid, especially with what they were promising, I got way more than I fucking paid for in a way,
Since our review, quote unquote, of Metal Gear, I definitely say my opinion has very much been altered. Because I didn't realize just how do I word this without it sounding bad? I didn't realize exactly how boring it was at the beginning. Because now that I've gone from Afghanistan into Africa, it's just opened up so much more. And they do so much
with it, too, because, like, in Afghanistan, it feels like you're kind of confined to the roads and maybe, like, 30 feet in either direction, and the mountains are really bad. But in Africa, you can just run. Slap across the savannah.
It almost feels like Afghanistan was a 30-hour tutorial.
In a weird way, yeah, exactly. And I feel almost like hate going back there, you know, because it's like, oh, yeah, now I got to fucking figure out how to get to this base from this base.
I think that's where a lot of the bad reviews and bad stuff comes from is Afghanistan.
It's people who don't want to put the time in to go past that main stuff. Like, there's a lot of reviewers out there, and you know, I'm not going to tell a fucking video game reviewer how to do their job, but there are. Let's be honest. If you believe that you don't have to complete a game in order to know if it's good or not. Yeah, I can understand that. There are some games I played and been like, no, I don't want to play this.
It's like Final Fantasy X. You know, 40, 50, 60 hours in, it gets good.
Yeah.
Up until that point, it's kind of fucking boring.
Yeah, but then it's like, you have to take that into account when you're reviewing it, but that can't be the entirety of your review. If your entire review is the first 30 hours of Metal Gear, or it was like even just like the first 15, you're like, yeah, it's really fun doing this stuff, but man, it's kind of boring in between. It's like, really? I never got bored once in between anything. There's always something to do, and there's ways to cut the boredom. Like, fun for me in that game was like going from... like, if I wanted to do side ops, I would just fucking drop in Afghanistan or Africa, and I would just plot a course to each side op that I could do. And I would just do them, and then I'd get back in the helicopter, and then I'd go back to Mother Base, or I'd just fucking start a mission, you know?
But hell, I mean, even in the other
I'm choosing to do this, you know? I'm not forced to do this by the game, so it can't really be boring, quote-unquote, if you're choosing to do it. Boredom comes out of not having any choices. And feeling constrained by the game. But you're not really constrained. I'm just like, well, fuck, I need more GMP, and these fucking missions got people, and there's trucks that don't have balloons on them, and they need balloons on them, you know? Which is sort of my whole thing. I run a used car dealership out of Mother Base where I just fucking steal cars, and I fucking sell them off to people. You know,
but even in the old Metal Gear games, half the fun was like fucking with guards in different ways,
figuring out the best course of action. You know?
Doing weird shit, getting the box.
It was very odd playing Metal Gear Solid during the live stream and actually playing it critical path, like figure out how to beat the story as quickly as possible. Because it's like, I had a lot of fun, like tanker mission, just fucking around with all the dudes on the tanker mission. And like since I played most of my... I did play and beat Metal Gear Solid 1 back in the day, but also most of my Metal Gear Solid play came from a PlayStation demo disc. Yeah. So it was just that little opening helipad bit.
And just go in there and fight.
Exactly. You just go around and fuck around and figure out the mechanics. Circle right now. You learn everything about, you know, the game and how it works and what's the best course of action and like...
And I almost feel... I don't feel constrained because I really fucking love the games. I really love the story. I'm in it for everything it has to offer. But if I were playing this game as a Metal Gear back in Metal Gear Solid 2 day, when I was a fan but not as much of a fan, I might feel constrained if I knew, like I know now, that there's like a different ending if you don't do certain things, or you know, with all this rating and all, you're like constantly getting graded. That almost feels like that's too much. Yeah. It's almost constraining because I don't want to fuck up this mission, but I want to have fun.
Right. So, and I figured out, honestly, the game does reward you for just fucking and saying fuck it. Yeah. You know, because like you will get S ranks out the ass when you just say, oh shit, you get caught and you just pull the gun out.
If you're just fucking quick about it, you can S rank the shit out of stuff.
Because they knock you for every alert that you get. Yeah. But if that one alert is the only alert that you get, you can still get an S rank. So you just keep that alarm going. You just keep shooting motherfuckers. And you just keep... I've gotten to the point now where they can call in a gunship at any point.
Oh, Jesus.
You know, like where they will fucking, like, if I'm fucking their shit up, like, it sucks too because you got quiet and she did, like, I don't really use quiet that often, but I was using her on a... Because I do the occupational forces mission a lot because it's get 2 tanks in a truck for free. You know, as long as you just fucking kill time for a while. Actually, like 3 tanks in the truck, because there's that one over there by like another Russian base. But yeah, if you just do that mission, you can fucking like get a shitload of cars pretty easily. And I just took Quiet with me on one of them, and told her to shoot some guys, and so they're fucking going crazy looking for her. They're hearing her gunshots, and I don't have her bond up enough to. I have the money and all the ratings and stuff, but I don't have the bond up. I have to get the Trink sniper rifle with the suppressor on it.
It's fucking handy.
Yeah, so I'm just having her Trink dudes, but it's fucking loud as shit, and they're all freaking the fuck out, and I'm using that to get behind them.
That's like it's almost good to have her not suppressed, because
then
you can
people,
just
exactly. You can just fucking sneak up behind the dudes while they're freaking out about her. So I'm clearing that whole thing out, and like I spent so long, I didn't even get the intel file, but the trucks just came, because I spent so long trying to clear this base out and get all these dudes, because I'm at a point now where almost every dude has at least one that's A+. Yeah. So it's like, well, fuck it, you gotta take them,
Dude, the ranks have gone like way up.
Yeah, they fucking. There was a graph I saw where somebody graphed out like the actual rate at which the different levels of soldiers spawn. So after you get to a certain like, I think it's like it's based on like mother base level, and then also like missions completed and everything and something like that. And after you get to a certain point, it's like most of the dudes are gonna be A+. Most of the dudes are going to, even like a lot of S ranks are going to pop up.
I'm wondering when you start seeing like S and S++, because even Big Boss is just A++.
Yeah. I mean, you get, I don't know if this would be considered spoilers, because it's not, you get a lot of volunteers as the game goes on, people that just like, you're like, I did not Fulton that many dudes, because you're getting a lot of volunteers when you come back to Mother Base. So like, you'll get like, you'll Fulton out 5 dudes, but you'll have 15 dudes come with you, But at the end of the very last mission, after you basically beat the game, they just hand you like 5 or 6 S rank soldiers. Damn. They just say, well, here you go, and it's like, here's your reward, essentially. Here's some dudes,
It's just strange because, like Ocelot's an A+ soldier, and then like Miller's an A+ or A++.
Yeah, I wish they would like, there was somebody was talking about it on, I think it was on Reddit, and they were like, wouldn't it be cool if like, you fucking tried to hold up an S-rank soldier at Mother Base, and he said, you got the safety on, rookie. Or something like that. Like, because, he's fucking better than you. Yeah. Like, if you think about your ranking system, it's saying that he's only A++, and everybody else is fucking S-ranks in your base.
Can you move Ocelot? Because I would love to put him in the fucking combat thing and then use him.
I don't know if you can. I mean, I know I moved Miller.
You're using Miller.
Right. I know I moved him at one point because of a storyline reason. I don't know if you've even gotten to that part yet, so I'm not going to say nothing. But I think that was because where I moved him to wasn't some other group. It was like a different thing. So... yeah, that part gets fucking...
yeah, don't spoil it for me.
I'm not going to, but that's when the game gets good. Like, they pretty much, like, good. Because of, like, the way the missions are structured, like, towards the end of the game, it gets fucking weird. Not just, like, storyline-wise, but...
just weird.
Yeah, there's, like, there is not a timer, but there is sort of, like, an internal thing within the story and within the mechanics of the game that kind of pushes you into just doing those missions. Yeah. Like, doesn't give you any time to fuck around. Yeah. It's not like a timer. It's not saying you only have so long to beat these missions or whatever, but it's like there's a thing that you, like, I gotta fucking critical path these missions because bad shit's going down. Yeah. So you're doing that, and then there's like weird to be continueds between missions, you know, like where the mission will end and it'll say to be continued, and you're back in the helicopter, and then you go to the next mission, and it starts in the middle of where that cutscene of where the last one left off. It's like,
I guess it's like breaks in between.
Yeah, but it doesn't fucking make sense because there's crazy action going on and a cliffhanger to be continued, and then you're back in the helicopter just. Yep.
Break time.
Yeah. And then it's like, okay, let me get back to this crazy event that's going on in the middle of it. Pause. Hold on. Gotta take a time out. It really plays into the whole like. Kojima, everybody's a puppet kind of meta story stuff,
Well, let's not make this another Metal Gear cast.
Yeah, I know what we're talking about.
Speaking of getting good, have you heard anything new about Dark Souls 3?
There's this weird mechanic in the game they've added. The weird thing that they've been talking about is the heat system for bosses. And basically, I don't know what determines it, but I guess it's like how many things you've killed, if you've fought other people, invaded other people.
Yeah.
Bosses will fucking just change.
Shit.
Like what they do, their attack patterns, how hard they are.
So not only is this fucking Dark Souls with the hardest bosses.
I feel like that sort of plays into the concept of maybe like there being a boss rush mode at the end or something. Yeah. Which I think Bloodborne has something similar to that with called the Chalice Dungeons. Yeah. And these are like procedurally generated like hellscapes essentially that you just walk through, and then like you'll have like 4 bosses that you just got done fighting, and there's 4 of them now, and you gotta fucking fight them,
Brutal.
Yeah, it's like weird shit like that. And as long as they take the turn away that Dark Souls 2 had, because I like Dark Souls 2. There's nothing wrong with the game, but
I really liked it.
If you're a Dark Souls fan, the biggest problem for me was that the bosses were not identifiable. Yeah. It's like it almost felt like the bosses were just sort of, here's a boss, here's your next boss, and they came like that. They didn't really space them out as much as they should have or could have. And there was nothing really identifiable about them. It's like, you're like, when Dark Souls 1, you're like, Ornstein and Smough, the Gaping Maw, the Capra Demon, you know them by their fucking first names, and you're fucking,
this one, it's Royal
like,
Rat
there's
Vanguard.
Like 3 dudes in a room, and they kind of look like marionettes, and then there's like this weird double-bodied thing in the bottom of a boat for some reason.
And then that fucking, like, the priest guy, that was the worst boss. Yeah. It was easy as fuck for one. Which,
and there was like the fucking like chariot. I
thought the chariot was kind of a cool one.
It was a cool boss fight, but as like a, again, what was the chariot's name? I don't remember. I remember there was like a lot of skeletons that I fought.
I did
Royal
see
Rat
this.
Vanguard was just because it's a cool thing. It's a fucking bunch of rats, and there's a fancy rat with a mohawk, and you gotta kill him.
The chariot one, I kept thinking this is Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. And the chariot, that felt very Zelda-esque. Yeah. But I feel like if they take a turn away from that, they maybe like give us more, where the bosses feel like important to the story in a way. Like the reasons for where they're at and like what part they play in the storyline and everything like that. Like it made sense for the bell gargoyles to be on top of the bell tower, and it made sense for. And with the whole story being about ringing these fucking bells, but then for some reason in Dark Souls 2, there's also a bell tower, but it's not about ringing the bells. There just happens to be a bell tower, and there also happens to be gargoyles there. Like it just, and then the weird chapel with the old dragon slayer. That's just fucking Ornstein, and it's like, okay, but that's just the same boss from the fucking first game. I mean, it's cool lore, I guess, if you want to say lore-wise, this is cool, but, that's whether or not you believe that Dark Souls 2 is, like, Lordran in the future, essentially, is, like, a weird way, or just, like, another weird twisted version of it from a different timeline.
I will say this, Dark Souls 2, I had a lot more fun in Dark Souls 2 post-game than I did in 1. Just because the combat system and everything, like, fighting other people and all was a lot better. Mm-hmm. And, quick travel, God.
Yeah. They got a lot better with that in that game, with the traveling with it. But I think the reason why the design of the world necessitated fast travel over Dark Souls 2. Dark Souls 1, the world was a lot more interconnected and felt more linear. Like there was only like a couple of parts where you had to return to a central point and then branch to a different area. Yeah. Like where you had to return to Firelink Shrine and then say, okay, well now I'm going to New End Orlando, New End Orlando or whatever. And now I'm going to, the catacombs, But overall, it felt like, well, if I should go through Undeadburg, and now I'm going to the Blight Town, and now I'm going to, the next little bit, and the next little bit, next little bit. And you're sort of always traveling down this critical path, and there's no real reason to return to a central area. Yeah. There was not... You had to do that in Dark Souls 2, but it was never apparent when that was the right thing to do.
All right, yeah. Two was really weird about that. One was well designed. Definitely, the level design all was very good. The level design in 2 was good too. Just it wasn't connected as well.
Yeah, and like it's just the way that world was designed. I mean, it made sense in like a Demon's Souls because there was a hub world, and the worlds were actually split off into different levels, and then it kicked you back to the hub world, and you get to the next level, or you went to the second level of the first level. You know, like you decided how that path went, but at least it always kicked you back to that main area, so you could make that decision of where to go. With Dark Souls 2, it was like, well, is this where you need to return back to the hub area and now venture down a different path? You know, because you don't know until you start running into things that are way too hard, but you don't know if they're way too hard because it's Dark Souls or they're way too hard because you're under-leveled, you know? Like, there's like
that fucking dragon they moved in the fucking Scholar of the First Sin edition. Fuck that guy.
Should not have been there.
I had to summon 3 guys just to fucking get past that asshole. Because
dragons
I couldn't do anything
have never
about fire.
been easy in Dark Souls games. Like, they just fucking... They're always been a motherfucker.
Speaking of which, shit, what was the name? It was one like the Eternal Dragon or some weird shit. Not the one where you get under his feet and just go ham on, but the big-ass one that flies around.
Yeah.
I summoned, like... all the people you could summon. It was literally like 4 or 5. Like, well, it was more than 4. It was at least 5 people.
Yeah.
Maybe 6. And it was literally just like it was like an MMO run, like a dungeon
like
rush.
6 dudes rushing.
Fucking Leroy Jenkins, just like, all right, aggro him, you know, just fucking... What's your DPS right now? I don't know. Just go.
Just go, yeah.
I mean, it was just
I'm a cleric, but I'm tanking. What's going on?
Sorry, I'm not very good with my MMO stuff. I never played MMOs. But that's what I imagine, like...
Yeah.
M&Ms.
Yeah.
That's what I imagine M&Ms feel like.
Yeah. I mean, that's what... getting into, like... And that game does have almost like MMO-like mechanics when it comes to like just fucking numbers out the ass. Like here's all these numbers, and then you watch the numbers go up as you get better, you know.
And then you watch them go down.
Yes, down. I feel like there could have been a bit more direction in that game when it came to how, but I mean that's Dark Souls. At the same time, I also I maybe have to take my own sort of. How my own method of which I played Dark Souls into account, you know, like because I bought Demon's Souls and I played it, like got past like the first level, and I was like, this game is way too hard, and I just put it away, you know. And then Dark Souls was announced as coming out, and I was like, well, I guess I need to
go back and
play Dark Souls. So
anyway, I'm fucking hype.
Yeah,
definitely gonna pick that up when it comes out. Probably for PC.
Definitely for PC. I feel like 2 was fucking great on PC. You know, like,
it really was, especially Scholar of the First Sin edition.
Yeah, they work out their little problems. I mean, you didn't have to fucking download a separate mod to make it work like you did in fucking first Dark Souls. And also they got rid of that weird glitch where the fucking durability is linked to your frame rate.
Oh my god, that was so bad. I was playing when it still had the glitch.
Yeah, that's the only reason why, like, I feel like people who complain about frame rate unlocking just had no idea how video games are made. It's like you don't want to venture down that path. There's been a lot of games that have been locked to like 60 and like, no, I want to play it 120 because it's a racing game, you know. But it's like, no, this fucking engine is locked at 60 because shit gets weird when it goes over that frame rate because we have our cycles are all based on fucking frame rates.
Which
and
that's
60
bad
frames
programming,
a
I
second.
think, anyway. But, you know, that's neither here nor
your
there.
engine should be scalable. Your fucking whole world should be scalable, especially with the fact that PCs are always going to outperform consoles. And if you fucking scale your shit to consoles,
I think they'll get over that problem.
You're shitting all over the PC market as a viable platform, especially now that Steam boxes are about to come out. You know?
I think they'll get over the FPS problem with programming pretty freaking shortly, especially with the popularity of 4K and 120 hertz monitors and all that. Just really getting popular.
I mean, it depends on. I mean, this has been a highly successful console era. I'm honestly shocked. I thought that it was gonna. I guess people were really fucking ready for new consoles.
Yeah. I mean, as far as like
they were ready for new hardware because we're so used to our 5-year cycle, and it took like 7 or 8 years for those other two to get out of the way.
I mean, even with that long of a cycle, I mean, there's still not that much of improvement.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, people just wanted new boxes. They didn't give a shit about what the power was. I mean, shit, Metal Gear Solid 5 plays on a PlayStation 3 perfectly fine.
Yeah, the 360 perfectly fine. But anyway, get hyped, Dark Souls 3. And we are coming up right at 45 minutes. Sounds perfect to me. What do you think, Frank?
That sounds good to me. I will talk to you guys later.
See you next time. Probably next week. By the way, we're doing YouTube content soon. Gaming stuff. Yeah, look out for it.